All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Good Old Hockey Podcast. It's finally here. It's finally here, episode 69. It's been 68 episodes in the making, and we have an announcement to make. We are dropping an OnlyFans, me and Alan. Special naked episodes for you guys. So click the link down below. Go check right now. I'm serious. And it's called Buy Me a Coffee, and you send us $10. And you get access, I swear. That's our big announcement for episode 69. No, but on the real note, this is episode 69 for real. But we've got some good playoff series, and we're going to get into that. But first off, Alan, how was your week?
Not a whole lot happened. It was good. My girlfriend bought tickets to Riley Green.
Nice.
So we're going to
What
that.
is that?
It's at the Fort Idaho Center.
When?
Oh, it's in August.
August, okay.
Yeah. So we got lawn tickets for that.
Nice.
Riley Green, I think Ella Langley is opening for him.
Hot.
Going with my girlfriend.
I know.
It's going to be a good time.
I was talking about Riley Green.
Oh, yeah. He's handsome. He's a handsome man. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. I like Riley Green a lot.
Yeah.
Other than that, not a whole lot happened. I booked a rental car for Hawaii. I'm going to Hawaii in September.
Ooh, nice.
So I booked a rental car for that.
Well, we went on Saturday. We went to Rudy's.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that was a good time.
It was, yeah. Fun time. Alan got margaritas.
I did get margs. Margs are for the boys.
Yeah. Alan, I love Alan because he's very shameless in his drinks, and I respect him for that because it really doesn't matter what you drink.
I got a pink margarita, and I drank 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, everyone likes to give him shit for what he drinks, and including myself. Sometimes the Long Islands are a little fruity.
Yeah, whatever. Long Islands are good, man.
They are.
I don't even care. They're good.
Yeah.
They're tasty. It's like a lemonade.
Yeah. No, it's true. Margs are fire. I love margs. But, yeah. What did I do this weekend? Went golfing on Friday.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Good. First 9 was all right. I got a par and maybe 2 pars and a bogey and then a couple double bogeys. But then it started raining, so we couldn't even finish the back 9.
That sucks. Where'd you guys go?
We went to Quail Hollow.
Okay.
So pretty tough course, narrow greens.
Yeah.
Or fairways. And yeah, I didn't lose too many balls though.
That's good.
Front 9, which is the important part.
That's really the important part.
Yeah. Yeah, those balls are just demoralizing.
We're not pro golfers as long as you don't lose a bunch of golf balls. That's all that really matters.
That's all that
matters.
Have
a good time.
Yeah, you just have fun.
Don't spend a whole lot of money on drinks.
Exactly. Yeah, they were actually pretty cheap. I got 2 Coors Light. They were only the 12-ounce cans, but it was only like $7 for 2.
That's not bad.
Which is not bad.
Yeah.
Where usually I feel like I'm spending $15 to $16.
I've heard John's a stick. Is he good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Our teammate John, who we went golfing with, he's really good. He's been golfing for a while, but those fairways are just so narrow and you have to be so accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be times where he's like kind of off and he's like, come on. And I'm like, dude, like you're right there.
I took 3 shots to go in the fairway.
Exactly. So yeah, that was fun. And then yeah, just pretty much watch playoff games. And boy, we have some series to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So we'll kick it off starting on the West Coast. First one being Winnipeg Jets and Blues. When we talked last week, that series, well, it was only game 1 that we had watched. So now we're kind of in the middle of these series / towards the end of some of the ones that we could have called.
Yeah.
But the Blues have officially tied it up. It's 2-2. They've both won at home.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really nothing. Series hasn't even started yet.
Yeah.
No one's lost at home. Connor Hellebuyck looks like Swiss cheese. At least he did in St. Louis every time. I don't think Binnington played great last night, but it's not like they're not the deciding factor, I would say. No. But Connor Hellebuyck looking like, and the Winnipeg Jets, I don't know what it is with the playoff Winnipeg Jets. They still, it's not like they're out of the series, it's tied. Yeah. But if you have a Vezina candidate goalie in net, I don't know why he can't do anything in the playoffs.
I don't know. It's also probably not a good feeling. You're up 2-0 in the series, and you're now going back home The last 2 games, you've been outscored 12-3.
Yeah. That's the big thing. If it's a close game, that's one thing.
That's not good. Letting in 7 goals is never good.
No.
Let alone going back after getting whooped 2 games in a row. It's like, ooh, I don't know if that's a good feeling for them.
Yeah. Connor Hellebuyck getting pulled twice.
Yeah.
In a row.
Not good.
Not good for the morale. But again, like you're going back home. The momentum's on the blue side for sure, but again, the Jets had the momentum going into St. Louis.
Yeah.
And it flipped. So this series could be going to 7, like I think we said, or I don't even know if we said 7 games, but right now it's looking like it could go 7.
Yeah.
Because there's really, I couldn't predict who's going to win this series because of just the way these games are back and forth.
No. It's crazy.
If Hellebuyck looks like his normal playoff self, then the Blues are winning this in 6.
Yeah.
But geez, like I don't get it.
I think I saw there's rumors that Eric Comrie is going to start
Really?
in Game 5, which is Eric Comrie's a great backup goalie.
Yeah.
His stats weren't fantastic this year, but big morale guy. He's really, I don't know if you've ever seen his interviews. He's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just, that's really tough when you have, the best goalie in the NHL for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And he can't stop a beach ball in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, that is a big downside to, and it's not like it's just a goalie that has been solid all year. It's Connor Hellebuyck.
Yeah.
Who's been
led every single goalie stat the entire year.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And last year too.
And he just can't do a thing in the playoffs.
Yeah. And last year, like they played the Avalanche, which, was a pretty offensive heavy team. So it's tough to say, last year to like compare it. And I did. Mm-hmm. And it's still true because Hellebuyck just, I don't know what it is. And
maybe I didn't pay enough attention last year to that series.
Yeah.
But like he's getting beat on shots.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's, getting beat on like rebound plays or like defensive breakdowns. He's just getting beat on shots, which is never a good thing. I mean, you don't want to get beat at all as a goalie.
No. And I think last year was when he played the Avalanche, he was going toe to toe with Alexander Georgiev.
Yeah. And he got outplayed, which is crazy.
Who, as you guys know, if you've listened, we have a lot of words for Georgiev as a Sharks fans, but I truly don't get what's happening to him if he just can't play in the bright lights. And as Americans, we want him. I want success out of Connor Hellebuyck. He's a great goalie.
Yeah.
But in the Olympics, I don't know who you start because in the next series too with Ottinger, like he hasn't looked bad, I wouldn't say. Mm-hmm. But they're supposed to be like the top goalies in the league. Yeah. And they're not playing like that in the playoffs when it matters, which is what's going to help us in the Olympics.
Ottinger is an interesting guy. We'll move on to that series. Yeah. That series up tied 2-2.
Yep. Same case.
Dallas has barely led all series and somehow they're stuck out with 2 wins, which is insane. Mm-hmm. I think they have a minute and 2 seconds with a lead, and that's after 4 games. Really? Didn't score a goal last game, and there was a minute and 2 seconds with a lead after game 3, where they were up 2-1. Huh? Yeah.
That's crazy.
The Avs have led, well, now it's probably 140 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 150 minutes, and the Stars have led for 1 minute this tie series. Ottinger is an interesting guy because he's very, very good, but it does kind of seem like he's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
And he had that insane playoff series a couple years ago against the Calgary Flames, where it was like every single game was 2-1 or 1-0 and 1-7.
Yeah.
And that I think was his rookie year, if I remember correctly. And he was phenomenal. And then since then, he hasn't quite been able to match that just kind of overall level of play.
Yeah.
He's a very good goalie.
He is.
Extremely talented, but it's kind of worrisome for the U.S. going to the Olympics next year.
I know.
Your goalies. I mean, he didn't look bad yesterday.
No.
Or on Saturday, I should say. He actually looked pretty good. He got pulled, which was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah. We were talking about it at Rudy's, and you were saying it could be an energy thing for him, which makes sense, but they were only down 3 when they pulled him. And a 3-goal lead is nothing too scary.
I think they were being outshot like 34-15 though.
Right, that's true.
Which is
after
2 periods of play. Like you don't want your starting goalie facing 50-something shots in a game that you're probably going to lose anyways.
Yeah.
Your team has absolutely nothing going on for them. They're getting beat 3-0 going into the third period.
Yeah.
It's just weird though. That was a weird situation. I don't know. Like you said, he might be nursing an injury.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about that going into the playoffs. So I don't know. I have a feeling they probably wouldn't release it anyways.
No, they're going to keep it under wraps if
But that is just a weird, and he did not look like he was pissed off, like, oh, I sucked today, right?
Yeah, he was like
sitting on the
in.
bench, and they had him zoomed in. He was locked in.
Yeah, he was just thinking about everything.
Yeah, you can't blame that on him. He played well. He had 9-12 save percentage, something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
15 shots though.
What Pete DeBoer was doing there? It's Pete DeBoer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what Pete DeBoer was doing there.
Pete DeBoer is another topic because
oh my goodness,
that man has taken so many teams deep, but just cannot get it done.
In like the first season, he's there too.
Yeah,
which is weird.
He took the Sharks. Was that his first season with us?
Yeah,
yeah. Took us to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Lost to the Penguins. He did it with the Knights. I don't know if they went to the. It was the Capitals, right?
I think
was
so.
the Cup final against the Capitals.
I forget.
But he did it with the Knights. Couldn't get anything done there, and now with the Stars, he's been so close, but just never
making deep playoff runs. But you're not showing anything for it.
Which is going to get you left out of a lot of conversations of being a GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's really in that conversation, frankly.
No.
But just because you get a team to the playoffs,
he's a great coach. He gets teams to the playoffs year in, year out.
Yeah.
Given he's coaching good teams, but
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's partly due to him.
True. Yeah.
But like, if you can't, win in the playoffs, you're not going to be remembered as a great coach. Nobody's going to think about you. It was like Paul Maurice until they won with the Panthers. He won with the Panthers.
Yep.
He was a long-time NHL coach. I think he's the winningest coach in NHL history.
Yeah, but he had no Stanley Cup.
But he hadn't won a Stanley Cup until 2 years ago. It's like, I don't know. That bald guy does not win a cup.
Yeah. No, he doesn't. And it's tragic, but
that team's too deep to not really go all the way.
Yeah.
I think it was Tom McClellan who coached them in 2021 when they made the Cup Finals.
Who's them? Stars?
The Stars. I think it was Tom McClellan.
Was McClellan a Stark? He was a King. He was with the Kings for the longest time. Because he went from the Sharks to
check.
Yeah, look it up. We have the internet. But if my hockey knowledge is correct, I want to say he went from the Sharks to the Oilers, and then Oilers to the Kings, and then now Kings to the Red Wings.
Oh, it was Rick Bowness.
Rick Bowness
when they made the Cup final against Tampa.
And was that COVID?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how that team has never actually won. They are such a deep team, and they have been for years.
Yeah.
They have the deepest, when they're healthy, they have the deepest roster in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why are you not winning?
Yeah.
It's another year, obviously. They have Robertson and Heiskanen are out.
Yeah.
Which is not helping at all. If they can squeak out of this first round and get those guys back, then I think we're going to be looking at them a whole lot different.
I agree, yeah.
It's just without them, they're getting masterclassed by Colorado.
I think that's the other thing too, is like we've said, all playoffs, like the Western Conference, like no matter who you are,
sucks.
It sucks because like you have to play so many good teams, and the Eastern teams, like I think we both know that it's like Lightning and Panthers at this point.
Yeah.
Everyone else, sorry Toronto, but like everyone else is kind of.
It's one of those things. There is no easy path to the Cup. Out of the West.
No,
because like the easiest matchup you're probably going to get is Tampa or Florida.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
but like every single team's a contender.
Yeah,
it seems like.
Yeah, and
except for the Winnipeg Jets. That's changed now.
Yeah.
Go over that next series we're going to talk about.
True.
But
yeah, now the Wild.
Oh my gosh!
Since we talked like last week, we kind of wrote them off, and just kind of said they weren't a contender. They are very seriously a contender.
Oh my God, they're insane.
They are a wagon, and they are, the Knights also are a contender as well.
Yep.
But a lot of these, Vegas tied it up in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of times these games that go into overtime, it's like really tough to say who could have won that because it's like
either team could have won one bounce.
Yeah. It
goes completely different.
And like a lot of times in those overtime games, those both the teams look pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Wild, I think the reason we wrote the Wild off was they started the year very hot.
Mm-hmm.
They started great. And I think some injuries, was it Matt Boldy that was out for a while?
Kaprizov was.
Kaprizov.
Yeah.
Their best player. And we didn't really know if he could get back to his prime self or just be himself in the playoffs.
He missed half the season.
Yeah.
And he's come back. He's got 4 goals and 8 points in 4 playoff games.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Matt Boldy deserves a shout out too. He's got 4 goals and 6 points in 4 playoff games. That guy's insane.
Yeah. No, they both like that team just looks amazing. I think Philip Gustafsson also is playing pretty well for playing the Knights.
Yeah.
A very offensive, like good offensive team. And Gustafsson's been playing great.
He's looked great.
Yeah.
He's got a 920 save percentage.
Yeah.
919. But
which is, all you can ask for out of a goalie.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. Playing the best team in the West.
Yeah.
Or one of the best teams in the West.
I'd say they're probably the best team.
On paper.
I think Colorado's the scariest team, but they're the best team with everything that goes into it. They have the deepest roster out of the West. Well, when they're as Dallas sits right now, they have the deepest roster in the Western Conference. It's just insane.
And they've proven that they can play. I mean, obviously they got bounced in the first round last year, but again, they played the first round with the Stars, which was a good team.
Yeah.
I think with the Knights in wild card or with the Dallas Stars wild? I think the Dallas Stars were wild card last year.
No, it was the Knights that were a wild card team.
That's right. They had a shaky start,
weird regular season.
Yeah. But
I'm very impressed with the Wild. They look insane.
Yeah.
They look super good.
They do.
Which is weird. I wholeheartedly expected them to come into this playoffs and just get kind of roll over and die.
Yeah.
But they looked fantastic. They've looked fantastic every game. They haven't looked bad.
No.
And they're playing the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
That with a completely healthy roster.
Yeah.
Mark Stone did not miss a single game. After the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I think he was injured early in the season, but it's just insane, man. It's crazy how much things can change. It really is a different it's a different season when, from regular season to playoffs. It really is, like you were saying, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So it's just really interesting to see. I wonder if Minnesota can make it out of this first round. Like, I'd say they probably beat Edmonton as they sit.
Yeah.
They probably beat the Kings, which is another really fun series to watch.
Yeah. We can move on to that one because I don't. Yeah. I think, like, last thing on Minnesota, I think a lot of people wrote them off just because of how they just kind of fell apart and didn't get back to how they started.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, okay, this team is pretty good. They are playing fantastic. And, it's like we've said, once you get out of the first round, anything's possible.
Yeah.
And for the Wild, they're playing either the Kings or Edmonton. And onto that series, though, that's a fun series. That has been the series to watch. If not, like, same with the Knights and the Wild.
Yeah.
Like, that's been a fun series too. But the Oilers and Kings, like, I don't know what it is about this Oilers team. They always somehow just stay alive, even though their defense looks garbage every time.
That game last night, so we're recording this on Monday, so the game that happened on Sunday, let me go back to it. The Oilers won 4-3 in overtime. I want to say it was Evan Bouchard tied it up with like 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Something like that in the game. And frankly, the Oilers put up more shots.
Yeah.
I do think they kind of got outplayed.
Yeah.
It seemed like a shoe-in, like this is a Los Angeles Kings win.
Yeah.
They put up 41 shots.
Yeah.
Given that's in 4 periods, but still. And Bouchard ties it with 29 seconds left, and Draisaitl wins it in overtime. It's just an insane series.
Yeah.
Obviously, they kind of got masterclass the first 2 games in LA.
Yeah.
They got Kings almost blew a pretty big lead in the first game, but after that, it was all Kings.
Yeah.
it's just insane to watch it go back and forth. It's really fun. Obviously, the 7-4 win on Saturday night. It was Friday night.
Yeah.
For the Oilers, that was kind of more of what I think everybody expected going into the series.
Yeah.
What could have been expected going into the series. McDavid and Draisaitl, there were a couple of games there that they looked non-existent.
Yeah.
And now they're both second and third in point scoring in the playoffs, which is just like, it's insane what they can do.
Yeah.
McDavid obviously had the 4-point game going in, or I think it was game 1. And then I think he had another 3 points last night.
Yeah.
Just insane.
No, they are. As much as I hate the Oilers, like, I got to give them credit because somehow Stuart Skinner didn't even play last game, because I think that was kind of the big issue was Stuart Skinner. I forget the name of their goalie now. What's his name?
Calvin Pickard.
He didn't look too bad.
He put up a .930 save percentage yesterday.
He looked great, which is scary because, like, I feel like the one thing that's always held the Oilers back is their goaltending.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, if they can put up 6 goals, but they're going to let in 7.
Yeah.
Like they did game 1. But now it's like, okay, their goalie can make, and even in overtime, like I was watching that and their offense just looks so dominant. They don't even need to have a good defense because their offense is just electric.
As long as you have a goalie who could keep enough pucks out of the net that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can score more.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, which is really funny. Like, they're not going to every night put up 5 points apiece.
Right.
So you can't rely, you can't have a goalie that lets in 6 goals a night. And that's what was stinging them early in the series. But you get a goalie that can, let in 3-4.
Yeah.
They're probably winning most games.
Yeah. And also Darcy Kemper he's a beast.
Yeah.
Like, he is playing like what you want out of a Stanley Cup goalie.
He looked shaky in the game on Friday.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I remember you were texting me. I think it was, what game was that? Game 2. You were texting me and he was lights out.
Yeah.
He looked fantastic.
And even last night, I mean, he was a .917 save percentage. He had 4 goals on 48 shots.
Yeah.
So, like, even then, and some of the saves he made in overtime were very clutch.
Yeah.
And obviously that last goal was just kind of everything fell apart. But it's what's going to happen when you let the Oilers dominate in the offensive zone.
And when you take penalties against the Oilers, you put them on the power play, you're going to get bitten.
That call was pretty soft, I want to say. But still, it doesn't matter. Like, no matter what the call is, like, you cannot.
You know what I have noticed this playoffs, and this is kind of across the entire league?
Yeah.
There have been way too many penalty calls. There's been a couple, like, kind of reckless hits. There's the Matthew Tkachuk one that people had some questions on Gensel, and then there was the, there's the hit on Barkov. Brandon Hagel. I don't know why I was forgetting his name.
Yeah.
I kept thinking Anthony Cirelli. That's the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Like, there were those hits, but then you're seeing a bunch of, like, soft penalty calls.
Yeah.
And it's like, they normally kind of put the whistles away come playoff time. They should at least let the boys play.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, you got to manage the game and not let it get out of hand, but it's playoffs. It's going to get out of hand regardless.
Yeah.
You saw that Caps Montreal game the other day. That was insane.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think they should put the whistles away. There's been way too many power plays, in my opinion.
That too. And it's just like, it's playoffs. And I think the unnecessary tripping stuff or the soft calls when it's like someone's stick hits someone's leg and then they fall.
Yeah.
Like, they call that tripping. And even frankly, that call in overtime last night with the Kings, like, that's just not something you call in overtime hockey. No. You don't call that. Like, it's not a blatant tripping. Those blatant ones you have to call for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like those hits that they in the Panthers Lightning series, those are ones you have to call. But there's just some where you're just like, dude, ref, put the whistle away.
Yeah.
We preached about it in beer league where it's kind of the opposite, I guess, where you kind of.
Well, it's because we don't get paid.
Yeah.
We're paying to play.
Yeah.
I work the next day.
Yeah.
I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah. No, exactly. And these guys are making millions, and it's the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Granted, our win was basically the Stanley Cup too in beer league.
We got a cooler cup too.
Yeah, true.
said beer league champions on it.
Yeah. Stanley Cup doesn't say that.
The keg cup.
Yeah, the keg cup. But yeah, I think this series is going to continue to be amazing, and I think this is going to go to 7.
Yeah.
Question is, though, who they play next would be the Wild or the Knights. And if the Knights and the Oilers play next round, it might be washed for the Oilers. But
yeah,
you could say that, and it might not happen. Like
Minnesota can score, and
yeah,
I think Philip Gustafson is better than Darcy Kemper.
Yeah, and
I think the Kings' team defense is really good.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of pushing them. They move the puck out of their zone really well and push it up the ice.
Yeah.
That's why they're able to score 6 goals, it seems like most nights. Yep. They haven't scored less than 3 in a game, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not what you want if you're the Oilers, but Minnesota's team defense isn't quite as good, but I think Philip Gustafson is a lot better than Darcy Kemper.
Yeah.
And he's played really well against a very, very good Vegas team. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of a scary situation for Edmonton, and then just having to play the Vegas Golden Knights is a scary situation for Vegas or for Edmonton.
Yeah, I agree.
So
both these teams have their work cut out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think, again, it's one of those things where it's like any of these series is not like a roll over and die. Yeah. Even whoever comes out of the Winnipeg St. Louis series, I don't see them really rolling over against Colorado or Dallas. Yeah. No matter who squeaks out that series. Probably Colorado, I'd assume. But then again, I've had a lot of picks wrong already this year. Looking wrong.
Yeah, looking wrong.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's just that series it's so fun to watch. Yeah. If you guys haven't been watching it, watch it because it's great hockey. And it's on late for anyone listening on the East Coast.
It's worth staying up for.
It is worth staying up for.
Worth staying up for.
Yeah. And frankly, same with the Knights and the Wild because they usually play a little bit later since the Knights are on Pacific. But
this is coming from 2 Sharks fans, too, who both hate the Kings and the Oilers.
Yeah. It's fun to watch them beat up each other.
My most favorite series to watch so far this playoffs.
Yeah. I think, I would say out of the West, and even out of the East, I love the Panthers and Lightning series just for the rivalry, but that Kings and Oilers in terms of fun hockey and offense.
They hate each other.
They played
each other 4 years in a row now.
Yeah. The Lightning and Panthers are a little bit more defensive games.
Yeah.
But if you want to watch pure offense, go watch the Kings and Oilers.
Yep.
Because that is a fun game to watch. But we'll move on to the Eastern Conference. And first up is the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were up 3-0. Mm-hmm. And obviously, anytime you're going to sweep someone, it's tough.
Yeah.
And this series has gone to overtime, I think now 3 games
3 games in a row.
Yeah. And that's never going to be an easy task to just finish off a series that quick. So the Senators won it in overtime, which was electric. They're in Ottawa. But the issue for them now is they're going to have to go back to Toronto and try to
close out a series. That is listen, I know they're up 3-1. This is a nightmare situation for Toronto. Right? Yeah. You have a series lead.
Yeah.
Oh boy. A 3-1 series lead. I know Toronto fans hate the words 3-1. Yeah. This is not looking good.
Yeah.
We're in the danger zone for Toronto.
Yeah.
We really are.
No, they are. The only saving grace for them is the fact that the Bruins are not in the playoffs. So they have that chance, but I think I saw it was they're 1-12 in closeout series games.
I love how we're saying they're fucked. They're up 3-1. Toronto, you're fucked.
You are. It's in their nature. It's in their blood to blow this lead to the Senators.
This would be the meltdown of the century.
Yeah,
you come in. They're the second place team in the entire Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
this is the best Toronto team we've seen.
They are.
In years. I know we were talking about going into this playoffs. This is a nightmare situation for them and kind of a great situation for Ottawa.
Yeah.
Hasn't played out that way so far. You've won 2 very, very close games in which you got outplayed against Ottawa.
Yeah.
You've been outplayed pretty much every game of the series.
Yeah.
And now you have to go back to Toronto and close out a series.
It's scary.
This is not... it's like if they don't win on home ice, they're going back to Ottawa, right? There's going to be a juiced up Sens Nation.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, we're playing Toronto. They were up 3-0. Now they're up 3-2.
Yeah.
They're screwed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a feeling this series is going 7. I think it'd be hilarious. I hope it does.
I wanted to go to 7 because, I mean...
They'll probably close it out tomorrow or tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really funny if they got blown out this next game.
Yeah.
Anthony Stolarz falls off a cliff. Do you see Anthony Stolarz beating the shit out of Ridley Gregg in front of him?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious.
I don't know how that. I believe that ended up in coincidental minors.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't.
As a goalie, that's hilarious for me to watch. But at the same time, I don't know how that gets called that way. That's kind of an interesting.
Yeah. No, it's pretty crazy.
Know. I'm not an NHL referee, but
yeah, that too. And it's just like, okay, the thing for the Leafs, I think they can close it out. This is the team to close it out.
Yeah.
If Stolarz is on his game. But let's say this then, hypothetical. If they don't win on Tuesday, which this episode, I'm going to drop it tomorrow, just for the sake of time, because everything's so quick in the playoffs. If they do not close the series out tonight, everyone listening, this game's going to 7 and Ottawa's winning. That's how it is.
That'd be that'd be the like collapse of the century.
Yeah.
It really would be.
Yeah.
That'd be worse than the Sharks 3-0 against the Kings, in my opinion.
Yeah, because of how good this Leafs team is.
This Leafs team is fantastic.
This Leafs team is. Yeah.
But it's just I can't trust it. No. I can't trust them to close it out.
No.
I really can't trust them to close it out.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, if anything happens and Toronto stops scoring, they're fucked. Mm-hmm. They're getting really handily outplayed by Ottawa.
Yeah.
And Linus Ullmark hasn't looked fantastic.
Yeah.
He's due for a good game.
Yeah.
He hasn't looked bad.
No.
They've gone OT the last 3 games.
I forget the one thing about Ullmark is, though, he was in net for a majority of that Florida and Boston series.
Yeah.
When they lost 3-1. So Ullmark, not that he has a bad track record by any means. He's a great goalie. But if he flips a switch and can be a great, and the tough part is a lot of these games are so damn close.
Yeah.
That it really is up to any team. Obviously, the Leafs have shown up in overtime twice now, but Ottawa just scored.
Yeah.
They've got some momentum now. They've got some life at least.
There's
it may
a little bit of life.
Enough life, but they have some juice left.
Yeah.
Didn't get swept. And again, if Toronto loses on Tuesday, they are screwed.
Yeah. It's
definitely
not only does Ottawa have
1.
juice, but you're sitting in Toronto. This has happened, 8 of the last 9 years?
Yeah.
We're screwed.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious. This would be the funniest collapse I think I've ever witnessed.
Regardless of what happens.
I love how we're fantasizing about a collapse.
We are.
Toronto's probably going to win on Tuesday.
Regardless, though, you guys are losing to Florida or Tampa.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Series.
Oh my gosh, the we want Florida chance.
Dude.
Did you not learn your lesson last time?
They did this last time, right? They did
yes.
We want Florida chance.
And did they get swept or they won 1 game?
I think they won 1 game.
Oh my goodness.
Or it went to 6.
No, it was 1 game. It was at most 1 game. It was a gentleman's sweep or a sweep. I forget. Yeah. But did you not learn your lesson, Tampa fans? Toronto fans? You guys are dumb.
No, that we want Florida chant is absolutely insane to want, especially obviously Florida had lost that night.
Yeah.
But you were chanting we want Florida after watching what they did in games 1 and 2.
They masterclassed in Tampa.
Yeah.
2 games in a row, dude. Yeah. And Tampa's not a bad team. I think they're the best team in the East.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you cheering for that? You're an idiot. Yeah. If you said that, I don't know, it was in a train station, I think, going back to Toronto. Yeah. You're an idiot if you were on that train.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
It is.
You don't want either of those teams.
No.
You want to buy to the 3rd round. That's what you want.
Yeah. You don't want to play. Honestly, no, I don't think you want to get reverse swept by the Senators. But yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You guys, if you have to play either of those teams, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Whoever they play.
At least if they make it to the 2nd round, they can lose with dignity rather than choking a 3-0 lead to Ottawa.
Correct.
because losing to Florida or Tampa is that's not a thing to go home crying about, right? That's like, they're great.
Yeah.
We want Florida, though. That's just so dumb. I can't get over that. That's so dumb. Yeah. You already tried that. It didn't work. Yeah. Stop.
And then, I mean, the best part, I think, was in Game 4, the Leafs fans brought brooms to the game. And it's like, dudes, like, I'm sorry. You guys cannot be that confident.
After making it out of the first round once in the last, 20 years.
And just with the history of choking, you cannot jinx this team.
No.
You guys have so many curses and jinx. You cannot bring brooms to Game 4.
I like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm not saying this as like a hater. I think Austin Matthews he's one of my favorite players in the world to watch.
Yeah.
He's so fun. He's American. I'm a big Matthews fan.
Yeah.
I think this team has been better than they've showed over the last few seasons. I think they're a legitimate hockey team. They just can't win come playoffs. As a guy who likes to watch, stop saying we want Florida. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. They're gonna get dog walked by whoever they play. But it's like it's so dumb to be walking around. It's not like you're Colorado and you're saying we want St. Louis, right?
Right.
That's a little bit different of a situation. You're talking about the defending Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah.
Who just dummied Tampa Bay on home ice 2 games in a row.
Yep.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
It's, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, it's the team that beat the Bruins, who you lost to last year, the year before that. The team who also beat you 2 years ago in the second round in I think it was, 5-6 game series. Even if you chanted, we want Tampa, like at that point when the Panthers are up 2-0, I can kind of defend it, but also like
it's still Tampa.
It's Tampa.
Their goalie alone is better than any of your players. Yeah. Same thing with Florida. You're stupid.
Yeah.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my goodness. That pisses me off so much because I want to see Toronto succeed. I want Austin Matthews to win a cup.
Yeah.
Frankly, as an American hockey fan, a USA hockey fan,
right.
I don't like seeing when USA hockey players are seen as bad because they can't perform in the playoffs. Because I want, come Olympic time, come international hockey time, I want those guys to be seen as scary and good and be like incite fear.
Yes.
Right? No Toronto player incites fear in anybody.
No.
Not even in fucking Ridley Gregg.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think you have against Florida?
Yeah.
The defending Stanley Cup champions, probably one of the deepest teams in the hockey, one of the best teams in the hockey.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Toronto fans are stupid.
Yeah.
You're really dumb.
Yeah. But we love you.
Clip that.
But you're dumb.
Chat, clip that.
I think the thing with Matthews, like, I do want him to succeed. I want him to succeed back home, though. He needs to come back home. Stop playing up there. They love you there, but they don't.
Listen, back home, he was born San Ramon, California.
Yeah.
You know where that is?
I do.
Back home, San Jose, baby. Let's go to the Sharks.
Awesome. Come home.
We can offer you more than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Didn't he just sign a contract extension? I think he did.
Only for 3 years, though. I don't think I think it's 3 years. It's something short. It's a bridge deal so that if they don't perform, he can get the hell out of there.
Come live in California, buddy.
Yeah.
The worst part of California, but California. Be nice.
That's not the worst part.
It's pretty ugly.
Yeah. You got nice weather.
Yeah.
You got nice. If he stays in Los Gatos, like he lives in Los Gatos.
Yeah.
Come home, Austin. Come home. We need you.
There's no team in Arizona anymore, so come back to your real home.
Exactly. Yeah. Where you were born. I don't know. I don't even know how long he lived in San Ramon.
No idea. Not very long, if I remember correctly. I watched they did like I don't know if it was a 30 and 30 or what, but they did a segment about it, and I think they moved to Arizona when he was like very young. But back home, your birthplace.
Yeah. No, regardless, it doesn't have to be Sharks. Just come back to America.
Yeah.
You'll win a cup there.
Play in the US of A.
A cup with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Join Florida.
Yeah.
Super team.
That'd be great.
You could take a pay cut and make more than you make in Toronto.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. He really could. He probably, if he made even, what's he make now? Like 14? If he made 10 mil in Florida, he'd probably take home the same.
Yeah.
After Canada taxes.
Yep.
So, ultimately, Leafs, good luck.
Yep.
I mean, I think they can. They have they have the shot to close out on Tuesday. However,
I don't think they will.
I think they will, but if they don't, that's where I lose all faith in them.
Yeah.
And they're done.
Watch them get walloped like 6-1.
If they lose 6-1 on Tuesday at home, they're done.
Yeah,
they're done.
Series over.
Series is done.
Just let Ottawa move on.
Yeah.
Let them take their lashings by Florida.
Exactly. Yeah. But all right, next series, another American stud, Matthew Tkachuk, and the Panthers versus the Lightning. I mean, there's so much to say about this. We had a little debate last week just about, which team's better. And I don't think the Lightning are out of this by any means. They play again tonight as we're recording. So we'll see if the Panthers go up 3-1. Again, anything can happen. They did almost blow a 3-0 lead in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, they did.
But that was to McDavid.
Yeah.
Like, frankly, McDavid alone and Draisaitl maybe. But
yeah. Then again, you're playing Kucherov.
Yeah.
He's sneakily been the best player in the NHL the last couple of years.
I know.
I think he lead in points last year. I think he did.
Yeah.
11 points last year, 11 points this year.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Yeah, he's been great. But I think the Panthers, what they do so well is bully.
Yeah.
They are bullies. It's so tough to beat that team in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think it was game 2, at the end of game 2, Tkachuk, Bennett, and Marchand were all chirping their bench with, I think it was Hagel and Kucherov.
Yep.
And Tkachuk was like, I want you. I don't know. I think he was talking to Hagel or Kucherov. I don't know who he was talking to, but this team is just, they're bullies. They will
so good at sucking teams into their shit.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because Tampa won cups by just dominating and being way better than everybody else. Mm-hmm. Florida is so good at just sucking teams into bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's freaking hilarious. I don't know if Tampa, if they go 6 or 7 games with Florida getting beat up, frankly, I don't know if they're going to be able to go very deep just because they're all going to be tired. They're probably all going to be hurt.
Yeah.
I just don't know. This is such a fun series to watch.
It is.
It's so entertaining.
No, and these, I will say as a whole, stepping back from this series, as a whole, these playoffs, this first round has been amazing.
Absolutely.
I think compared to last year, I think it's been better. Yeah. I would say. I can't really, I think the Boston
3 out of 4 divisional brackets are fantastic.
Yeah. Some of the East Coast, which we'll get to next, will be really quick. We're going to spend a lot of time on Toronto like we did in this series because the next 2 are going to be pretty quick. But this series, it's just, again, first round has been amazing. This series has been fun. And Florida is just a bully. And I think if I were to be on the Lightning right now, if you put me on that team, pretend I'm better at hockey. But if I was good, great NHL caliber hockey player, and I was on the Lightning and was playing the Panthers, I think Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, and Brad Marchand would push me to do. Probably, I'd have to go into a mental hospital because they would get under my skin so easily.
Oh, same.
And
same.
Especially as a goalie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So funny.
Bad. And I just know, it's tough not to root for this team as myself. I think if they win again, it's going to turn into, because I feel like when they played the Knights, I feel like everyone was rooting for them for the most part. You don't want to see the Knights win because it's a new franchise. Your team hasn't won forever. And then last year playing the Oilers, I think everyone was rooting for them too, especially, if you're in Canada, you might be rooting for the Oilers, but if you're a Flames fan, you're definitely rooting for the Panthers.
Yeah.
But everyone wanted to see them succeed. And now it's okay, you got your cup. And
you've been there back-to-back years.
Yeah, then it's all right, now you can calm down. I want my team to win.
Yeah.
And they are going to, I think it's going to shift if they get past this first round to the villains in the NHL.
Yeah.
Which I love because that's who they are. They are villains. You want to root for them and pretend like they're the good guy, but they're the bad guys.
Yep.
It's like rooting for the Sith in Star Wars.
Yep.
You should be rooting for Luke Skywalker and everyone. But
I'm a big Empire fan.
I know. I didn't want to say
hate the rebellion.
Rebellion scum. Yeah.
Rebel scum.
But yeah,
Please
like,
don't clip that.
I will. No. Overall, I mean, I think game 3, Bob did not look fantastic.
No.
And that's why the Lightning won. Which is what we said. I think it comes down to goalies. And even game 2 was a 1-goal game.
It was 2-0.
What?
Game 2 was 2-0.
Was it empty net? Okay.
Shut out.
I think it was empty net.
Yeah.
But it was a 1-goal game the entire
Yeah.
I think the Panthers scored early.
Yep.
And it was a close game. I'm not going to say that the Panthers kicked their ass like they did in game 1 though. But yeah, like Bob played great game 1 and game 2. Game 3 was a little shaky. But he's not going to be lights out every game.
Yeah.
But if he can get back to it, I think Panthers close out tonight and then finish in 5. But I don't know if that's how it's going to go because even if Bob does play great, you've also got Vasilevsky.
It's Vasi could go on a run, not let in a goal for the next 3 games.
Exactly.
It's just
so it's like
that freak.
It's so tough. And I don't think he's played bad. I think some of the goals are very Panther goals.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're just...
What are you going to do?
They're just so dominant.
Yep.
And not even dominant. They just get... I wouldn't even want to say lucky bounces. They just keep working to get those lucky bounces.
Yep.
And that's how they win games. Which is how you have to play in the playoffs. You cannot rely on skill alone. You have to play a gritty game, and that's how they play. So I think this series is, again, continue watching it because it's going to be really good. I think it really does depend how this game tonight goes. But even then, I mean, if the Panthers are up 3-1, I'm not going to write the Lightning out until the series is over.
I just hope this is a long series.
Yeah.
I hope it is because there's no downside to more good hockey. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Fun to see.
I think as a bandwagon, because I've hopped on the bandwagon now the Sharks are out. I'm on the Panthers bandwagon. So as a biased fan, I would say that as a Panthers, you want to get out of this series as quick as possible. Yeah. Because like we said, it will hurt you if you're playing 7 games.
If it drags on, this is going to be a tough series. And then, God forbid, it's game 7. It'd be in Tampa.
Yeah.
And you have to play against Vasilevsky. And any game, he could just go off and have a 60-save shutout. It's just insane. It's nuts. And,
the other thing, too, is if you're hurt coming out of that 7-game series because it's a rivalry, that's not a good thing. So you want to stay healthy and just get the job done.
Well, then you have a free round to heal up.
True.
Against Toronto,
yeah. That's a good point. Just they put in their backups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring in the AHL squad.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
No, they got it. I mean, yeah. But I think the biggest topic of this series is the suspensions.
Yep.
And I have a take because I'm sure a lot of Tampa fans will hate this, but you're going to have to hear. I'll hold your hand when I say this, but Matthew Tkachuk did not deserve a suspension on that hit.
He didn't even get a hearing.
Nope. And he didn't deserve one. And frankly, I don't think Hagel deserved a suspension either. I think what they should have done was assess a 5-minute major. Okay, actually, in a perfect world, I would say you get 2 minutes for interference on Barkov. Mm-hmm. It's a play where, he probably was just assuming Barkov would get the puck. He didn't. Bad luck. Yeah. He hits him. It was a pretty big hit. And obviously Hagel's a smaller guy, so he's got to knock off Barkov, put some more force behind it. But
Barkov's a huge dude, too. He's 6'3", 220.
Hard to knock off. But I think, what should have happened was a 2-minute penalty to Hagel for interference. And then on the flip side, that Tkachuk penalty on Gensel. Was it late? Yeah. But I think if you call that Hagel a 2-minute, you don't call Tkachuk's at all. So I think what happened then, obviously since it stepped up to a 5-minute penalty on Hagel and a suspension, that's where it moves that Tkachuk penalty to a 5-minute no suspension. Yeah. Because it's 2 different hits. I think one, Gensel had the puck at one point and was watching his pass, and Tkachuk had even said, on the ice, he's like, keep your head up. Keep your head up. That wouldn't have happened if you didn't puck watch. Yeah. And this is the NHL. It wasn't a dirty hit. It was late for sure. And I don't disagree with the penalty. He definitely deserved it. But to call a suspension on that in terms of fairness, if you want to call it that, it was not the same hit.
Mm-mm.
It was two completely different hits. So
yeah, I see where you come from.
Yeah.
Didn't end up biting Tampa that Hagel got suspended.
Mm-mm.
They won.
Mm-hmm.
And he's back for game 4.
Yeah.
Which I think is a huge add.
Yeah.
It's a huge guy to get back.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that he didn't get suspended for longer.
Yeah.
Should have been careful. Should have been a little more careful. Obviously, I think he had time to slow down and stop if he needed to, or at least turn away, or not fucking blow Barkov up, but blow him into next week.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's playoff hockey. You guys are going to get hit. There's going to be questionable hits.
Yeah.
Put the whistles away a little more. Yeah. Nobody wants to see guys out.
Yeah.
Imagine Connor McDavid gets suspended for a hit like that.
Yeah.
That sucks for hockey.
Yeah.
Because you get to see less of Connor McDavid in the playoffs.
Right.
It's just.
I think that was a big factor too, was Barkov leaving the game. Obviously, he came back for game 3.
Yeah.
But you don't know in the situation.
Yeah.
He could be pushing through whatever he got hurt off that hit. You don't know.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you either. The Panthers won't tell you till the series is over.
Yeah.
Any of these teams. They won't tell you till the series is over what happened or who's fighting an injury. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where I think the refs kind of escalated Hagel's a little bit, which made them call Tkachuk's a little bit heavier too.
Yeah.
But I think tonight, and this is coming out tomorrow, so I guess you guys will know the answer to this, but we could potentially see a rematch between Hagel and Tkachuk from the Four Nations.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. After everything, especially after Tkachuk going after Gensel, Hagel's going to want to stick up for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a beginning of the game fight.
That'd be fun.
Just to get that crowd. And Tkachuk knows he's at home.
Yeah.
Wants to get the
crowd going.
As much fans they have going. But that place does rock when I feel like it's a little early in the series. And those Panther fans, I don't know, not to shit on them because I'm a bandwagon, but
you're the biggest fan.
Yeah, I am. Probably. Yeah. But yeah, I think just to get those fans going, they might drop the gloves.
Yep. Get the rats thrown at some point.
I think the best time to do it's beginning of the game.
Yeah.
But also it's playoffs, so it's like you don't want to take yourself out for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Those first 5 minutes could be the only time you have a chance to score with these two goalies.
Yeah.
So you really don't want to take yourself out. But I think for the plot and for just the rivalry that's going on right now, I think we could see Tkachuk and Hagel fight.
Yeah. I think it'd be a good time.
Yeah. I think
be fun.
Too. Yeah. It'd be fun. But all right, we'll move on to the quick series. Capitals and Canadians. Canadians, I will say, put up a great game 3. You got to win at home. They looked fantastic. They looked like a fun offensive team. Obviously, there's some work. I thought Montembeault played that game pretty well, the one that they won.
Yeah.
And then last night they lost 3-1. I didn't even get a chance to watch that game. It was pretty early in the day. But the Capitals, the whole series have looked like the Capitals like we expected to look. The Canadians, I think, have looked better than I thought they would, I would say.
They're a young team.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really expected them to go deep. Yeah. I don't think anybody expected them to win a round. There was a goal, I think it was Hudson to Demidov to Slavkovsky last game, and that's like, well, all those guys are like under 21.
Yeah.
21 or under. That's insane.
Yeah.
Scoring in the playoffs. But like, you're playing a very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Experienced Washington team.
Yeah.
You have guys who have won Stanley Cups. You have guys who have been around the league for a very long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're playing a team with the greatest goal scorer in NHL history. It's just, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You can't exactly just roll over and die, but like you're going back to Washington now to face elimination, and they're a young team. Their best players are all like 24 and under. Yeah. What are you going to do? I think that's kind of what everybody expected out of the series, at least if you had a brain.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Which I don't think Montreal fans have.
No.
Frankly.
No.
No offense. Love you guys. And I love how passionate they are about their team. But sometimes and we all do this as fans. Sometimes you need to come back down to earth.
Yeah.
And realize, I think a positive note for the Canadians is that you picked 5th last year, and now you're a playoff team.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good thing to look forward to, and they clawed their way into the playoffs, which is amazing. But I think if you look at it as a whole, and I'm writing this off like they're done.
Yeah.
But if they do lose either tomorrow or the day after, then regardless, it was a good season for you guys.
Absolutely.
It was a successful rebuild. Coming out of the rebuild, you're not rebuilding anymore. You're in the playoffs. I don't want to hear it. It was a successful getting out of the rebuild.
We're like the worst case scenario. Now, guys have playoff experience. Ivan Demidov has as many playoff games played than he does regular season games played. Next year, he's going to have a first full year.
Yeah.
You have Lane Hudson, who, probably should be 2nd or 3rd in Calder voting, probably going to win a Calder. He's going to have a season under his belt.
Yeah.
Suzuki, Caulfield have got another year to get better. Who knows what the heck is going to happen with Patrick Laine.
Yeah.
Obviously he's injured right now, but this is a great year for them coming out of being a bad team last year.
Yeah.
Now you're in the playoffs. You're competing with the best team or the second best team in the NHL.
Yeah.
And you haven't looked awful. It's not like they're getting rolled over.
No.
It's been a pretty tight series.
Yeah, they lost game 1 in overtime.
Yeah.
And who scored? Alex Ovechkin?
Yeah.
Sorry, but you're going to, you lost to Alexander Ovechkin in overtime.
Yeah.
Game 1. In Washington, they managed to, the Canadians managed to tie that. So I think overall, whatever happens, I think, frankly, what's crazy about game 5s, I think if you lose game 5 and you're up 3-1,
it's a tricky situation because especially if you lose game 5 on home ice.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Then you're going back to Montreal, which is going to be rocking.
Dude, that
playoff atmosphere is crazy.
Yeah.
And you have to beat them away.
Yep.
And then if you lose that game, you're coming back to home ice on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah.
And it's just a tricky situation to be in. So I think the Caps do kind of have to close it out tonight. Or tomorrow night, I think they play.
Yeah.
I think they will. I don't see.
Oh, they play Wednesday.
They play Wednesday?
Mm-hmm. I think they gave everyone, the first 4 games, I think they play, night.
Every other night. And then once they have game 5, they give them a 2-day break. But yeah, I think overall, Montreal, hats off. They had a great season. You're done.
Writing them off, but you're done. You're done.
You're done. Gentlemen sweep.
Yeah, unless if the Capitals, if you guys win on Wednesday, then I will say this will go to 7.
Yeah.
But if not, obviously you're done.
Yeah.
Frankly. But all right, let's move on to Carolina and Devils.
That series has been boring.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but there's nothing to write home about. This has been my least entertaining series that I've watched.
Yeah.
I watched the overtime. The Devils won.
Yeah.
And that was an entertaining game. The Devils did not look as bad as I thought they were.
Yeah.
Gonna look.
I mean, Markstrom's a good goalie.
Markstrom's good, but they just don't have it. They don't have anything to match Carolina with. I feel like we've been writing off Carolina this entire playoffs, or at least we have these last couple episodes, just because Tampa and Florida are so good.
Yeah,
they're still a great hockey team.
They are.
Freddie Anderson's playing great too, which is that's a great thing for him. I feel like he always does. He just tends to break a bone or
glass bones.
Yeah. It's gone exactly how expected. You don't have Jack Hughes. You don't have your best player.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. And that's not a team that can cover for not having their best player.
Nope.
Some teams can. I think Dallas can, even though they've been outplayed heavily by Colorado.
Series tied, though.
It's tied.
Yeah.
I don't think the Devils can live without having Jack Hughes on the ice.
Yeah. I think it's a wash.
Yeah.
And I really have not been watching or paying attention to this series really a lot. And I think it's just because there's just not much to watch out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's good for Carolina, I think they can go pretty far because you got to play the Capitals next, and I think that'll be a good series if they play each other. But yeah, I just don't think it was my least watched series of all of them.
It was.
Yeah.
It's over. It's 3-1, but it's over.
It's over.
I think they're going back to, they're now going back to Carolina.
Yeah.
They have to win in Carolina, which is one of the hardest stadiums to play in. Carolina fans go crazy. And you're playing a team that is way better than you without your best player. I think Luke Hughes is still injured too.
Yeah.
It's just that team got smoked this year.
Yeah. And it's just unfortunate. Like we said this last week, like they got in a spot where it's like you have a great start to the season and you're able to put some games together towards the end. And then it just kind of, happened to make the playoffs in a weak Eastern Conference. You're like the Rangers suck.
This sucks too for them because this was their best opportunity to go deep.
Yeah.
Right? Because the East has been kind of bad this year.
Yeah.
At least it's the worst conference.
Yeah.
This is their best opportunity, especially their divisional round is probably the easiest. If you talk about we're writing off the Caps, they just played, they just were the second best team in the league, but I don't see that team beating Florida or Tampa.
No.
I don't see that team beating anybody in the West. It just, it kind of sucks for Florida or for New Jersey because this is the worst year to have the injury bug.
Yeah.
But they got the injury bug and you can't do anything about it. If you're playing in the AHL roster, then you're going to get smoked. Yeah. If you're, half of your best players are out.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do.
That's the toughest part. It's like there's just not much left. But I think you guys, again, come back and, keep writing these series off. They could very well win. But, again, Game 5, if you win in Carolina, you got momentum.
Yep.
Come back home, and you could push this to 7 pretty, not easily, but you have a chance.
Yeah.
So I think it really depends how these series turn out. But overall, to wrap this up, this has been a fantastic series. It's just been playoffs.
Yeah.
Not series. I haven't watched really much of the I have it on in the background and cooking food or something, but I'm not
paying attention.
I'm not standing up watching these games.
Yep.
Like I am some of the other ones. But I think these playoffs have been great. I think if you're watching the NBA finals over NHL, I think you're missing half your brain cells because I don't want to get into that. But yeah, NHL hockey is the best in the playoffs, especially. Mm-hmm. It's the best playoffs there are, aside from... No, I'd say they're the best playoffs of all time. But keep on watching those games. Let's see what we got for tonight for anyone watching.
2 games.
Well, no, for Tuesday.
Oh.
You got the Senators and Leafs at 5 Mountain. Devils and Hurricanes could close it out. Minnesota Wild Knights, that'll be a good one. Oh, okay. Everyone watching this today on Tuesday, you've got the Minnesota Wild and Knights at 7:30 and the Kings and Oilers at 8 p.m. If you have YouTube TV and can do the multi-view, you got to have a lazy eye or something.
Or you can just switch back and forth.
Yeah, true.
Because the offset, this is one of my favorite things about the scheduling for these 2 series specifically, is they're playing on the same night for the most part, and they're offset 30 minutes.
Yep.
So you can watch the
first period.
Basically all the first period, switch over for the first period of the other game, and watch that during intermission, switch back, you're at 15 minutes.
Yep.
And as long as there's no I think it was the Oilers Kings had a really long goal review.
Kind of makes it.
That messed it up, but I was switching back and forth for these games.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
No, yeah. It's really just I'd say the end of the game is tough because sometimes they kind of match up a little too close, but if you get to start the game, you can totally watch.
Yeah.
That's a great slate for Tuesday night. And then even Wednesday, if you're watching this on Wednesday, Canadiens, Capitals, But then you got the Panthers and Lightning at 5:30 Mountain Time, and then Winnipeg and St. Louis at 7:30 Mountain Time. So you're pretty blessed there. Yep. I think Tuesday night's the best slate to watch at night. I think the day games, Leafs and Senators, that'd be a fun one to tune into. You watch the end of that, and then go into the Knights and Wild. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a great night. Great night of hockey. So, But that wraps things up here. That was episode number 69. go click that link down below to join our OnlyFans. And if you actually did click that link, you are a sicko and a freak.
You're awesome.
Yeah,
we love you.
We don't actually have an OnlyFans.
We'll actually send you OnlyFans content if you click that link.
Yeah, if you message us on
You
Instagram.
gotta pay us though.
Yeah.
Money talks.
Money talks. These feet pics ain't free. You can message us on Instagram at Good Old Hockey Podcast and let us know you listen to the end.
Yep.
You want to know. And also, if you haven't, subscribe. Forgot to mention that at the beginning. Trying to hit 100 subs by the end of playoffs, where I think we're 65 now.
Nice.
So slowly growing, but we're trying to hit 100 subs by end of playoffs.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Yep. If you listen on Spotify, leave us a review. Trying to get some more 5-star reviews. If you hated it, don't leave a review. If you're a Leaf fan, don't leave a review. If you're a Devils fan, don't leave a review. We don't want to hear from you.
Yep.
Because you're probably going to roast us about how this, the Leafs team are going to win the Stanley Cup.
If you're specifically a Connor Hellebuyck fan, don't leave Sean a review.
Yeah.
You can leave me a review because I'm still a believer. If you're a Jordan Binnington fan, don't leave a review.
Yeah. Neither for me. I don't love Jordan Binnington, but
Jordan Binnington still sucks. I don't care what's happened the last 2 games. Jordan Binnington is still god awful. That's my take for the day.
Yeah. That's it. All right, guys.
Watch, he's going to go on and win the Conn Smythe. Which take would be worse? Canada's going to be the third worst team in the 4 nations, or that?
I think the Canada won because they won the medal.
Well, yeah, but what if the Blues win the Cup? Binner wins the Conn Smythe. And I look like a dumbass.
Yeah, but it's fair to not believe in Jordan Binnington, but to not believe in Team Canada is another thing.
Quick side note. Binnington, why haven't you started a fight yet? I want to see a fight go on because of you. I want to see you scrap with Connor Hellebuyck. Can you do that before the end of the series, please? Thank you. If Binner's watching this, I don't think he's watching.
He is. They all are.
He's a fan.
They know that we provide the most insight and unbiased takes and don't go off emotion at all.
Yep.
We just go off our brain. And they know. I know that they're watching us. So you're watching your favorite NHL player's favorite podcast. So.
Yep. That's... They subbed to our OnlyFans.
Connor McDavid actually paid me for feet pics. Which is crazy. He asked me to put ketchup all over it.
Say ketchup on your toes.
No, he wanted me to just like fuck a packet of ketchup. He hates it so much. And that's the episode 69. We'll see you guys next week.